Hi, cities. How are you doing? Welcome to Seminaria. Thank you so much for the support. I hope you all are doing great. So I came across this man's video. I think he's Hispanic. He was talking about how poorly they have crashed the economy and all that, still making it bad, and how he has cut ties and made tariff the order of the day, especially with American allies. The truth is that when this Mr. Orange was campaigning, I did not hear him say that he was going to make the economy boom. But if there is somewhere you heard that, let me know. Because all of it, I know he lied so much on his manifestos. But if you really want to know about American, if you really want to know about his intentions for this tenure, right? Go to Project 2025. He actually said it, that he is going to make his rich people not pay tax. And people were like, how are you going to make people that are rich already not to pay tax? When Kamala Harris said if she becomes a president, that she is going to make all of them pay tax and make the people, masses, pay lesser tax, because they do not deserve to be paying so much tax when the rich people are all around gallivanting. The economy is actually at the edge of, you already know, it is crashing. And last I checked, he is actually doing what he said he was going to do. Yeah, Mr. Orange is doing what he said he was going to do. Stay glued. Let's get into this video.
In light of the disastrous economic numbers just reported, do you know that out of all the lying that Republicans do, their greatest lie is that they are the best at handling the economy of our nation? I mean, all one really has to do to discover that it's all a lie is to simply look at the actual available data and then compare the economies of Republicans against the economies of the Democrats during the last 50 years. It's not even close, mi gente. Let's begin with President Reagan, for instance, who was the first Republican to introduce conservative trickle-down economic scam. Do you know that prior to Reagan's presidency, the average household in the U.S. was able to afford to live a decent life with just one source of income? There is a reason why ever since Reagan, the rich has gotten much richer, while the economics of the middle and lower classes has gotten much worse. So what happens after Reagan? Well, the very first signs of trickle-down economic failures appeared when Reagan's vice president, George H.W. Bush, became president, just to then lose his one and only term to the Democratic nominee Bill Clinton, because his inherited trickle-down economic policies from Reagan eventually came to collect its dues with a recession. So what happens next? Well, Bill Clinton picked up his mess, then raises the taxes of the very rich, dramatically cuts the deficit, invests in small businesses and education, and then turns the economy around into one of the best this country has ever seen, in spite of all the Republican obstruction. Great, right? Well, not so fast. Although he has such a great economy, a blowjob ends up costing his own vice president, Al Gore, the following election to the Republican nominee, George W. Bush. Bush Jr. then lowers the taxes for the rich again, gets us into two wars, blows up the deficit and the national debt, and then eventually crashes the economy into yet another recession. And then what happens? Well, Bush Jr. leaves a mess to Obama, which takes him almost 4 years just to get out of the hole that he was left in. Obama then saves the auto industry, expands health care to millions of Americans, kills Osama bin Laden, ends one of Bush's war, cuts the deficit of our nation, and then ends up rebuilding the economy to new heights like Clinton did, in spite of all the Republican obstruction. But what happens next? Well, Obama gave his great economy to Trump, who then uses it to also cut more taxes for the very rich again, blows up the deficit and our national debt, dismantles Obama's creative pandemic blueprints, a pandemic hits, hundreds of thousands of fellow Americans die due to his ineptitude, and his economy crashes too. And then what happens? Biden wins the next election by 8 million votes to take over his mess, which took him a little over 2 years just to get us out of the hole that we were left in. And then in just 4 years, Biden got us out of the pandemic in spite of all the anti-mask and anti-vaxxers Republicans, got us out of Bush's second war, dramatically caused the deficit of our nation, passes a historical infrastructure bill along with the Inflation Reduction Act, had the greatest amount of jobs created since the Clinton days, many which included the manufacturing jobs Trump promised to create but never did. Biden's stock market was so good during his presidency that he didn't even know what to do with himself. And then he reduces the pandemic inflation down to 2.5%, making our economy the best in the world. Just for what though? For then having the majority of the ungrateful American people to complain over and over about him, sometimes acting like his own age. So what is happening now? Trump somehow wins the election again, immediately cut taxes for the rich again, takes the deficit to new heights, makes enemies with all of our allies, imposes his stupid tariffs on all of us, and then the economy just started to head south only after 7 months in fucking office. See the pattern? Stay woke, mi gente. Dale. You know, mi gente, one of the biggest traps that our enslavers have so effectively placed on all of us, I mean, these are the selfish, greedy Mar-a-Lago huelebichos who first created our economic system and who are also now, as we speak, tweaking it once again against all of us for the sake of their own selfishness and greed, is to convince us that no matter how much we might get from their system or might get to accomplish on its behalf, that there isn't anything within the system that is ever enough because there is always something more out there to get and to accomplish. Within their system, there is always the next promotion, the bigger house, the newest car, and the more advanced cell phones, TVs, and computers, and so on, thereby mostly leaving us exhausted and frustrated in our never-ending quest of its elusive success and happiness. Meanwhile, all we ultimately get to do in that process is to never stop filling their bottomless greedy pockets at the expense of our own valuable time, personal health, family life, our unity, and pretty much all of the true riches of life. In other words, mi gente, our enslavers' created system is working just as originally intended. For their system to never stop working, thriving, and surviving, it must continue to keep us both, its producers who also happen to be its consumers, constantly unsatisfied, so that we will never then stop trying to become better producers and consumers. I mean, the more we produce on behalf of their greed for the sake of our own undefined success, the more we are then left with the cravings of more consumption for the sake of our synthetic happiness. Ironically, mi gente, all we really end up finding at the end of such a senseless rat race is nothing more than regret of an old and sick wasted life. This is precisely why I'm so critical of the MAGA cults of pendejos and huelebichos. Why? Because they are the same pendejos who, for the most part, I always see fighting to preserve their own enslavement, all while falsely thinking to be doing so on behalf of their liberties and freedom. Their willful ignorance and irreparable stupidity, along with their common disdain for neighbors not like them, whom, by the way, are just fellow Americans and not their enemies, like they have also been falsely convinced by their enslavers to treat them as, keeps them willfully asleep and thus incapable of seeing that their enslavers aren't people who need to be admired and worshipped, as we see them doing with their unconditional support and protection, but rather a bunch of greedy and selfish huelebichos who need to be held accountable so that we could all finally then be free from all of their abusive bullshit captivity. Stay woke, mi gente. Dale. 10 years, mi gente. It has already been 10 long-ass years since the orange proton Pe0ple came down from his golden escalator to announce to the entire world that he was going to get deeply involved in our fucking daily lives. It's been 10 years since his cult of delusional Kool-Aid drinking pendejos and huelebichos thought that his uninvited involvement in our lives was going to be the greatest thing that could ever happen to their miserable lives. During the past 10 years, mi gente, we have lost friends, relatives, colleagues, and people who we thought to generally be good and decent people, just to find out how pieces of shit they really were all along. During the past 10 years, we have also learned about the incredible amount of hateful and ignorant dumbasses huelebichos that we have all around us. Not only that, but we have also been forced to deal with them even though we have always known that in spite of the fact that they don't know shit about shit, they have now somehow come to believe that they are experts about every single topic of life, society, politics, science, history, and the economy, just because they happen to worship now another ignorant dumbass huelebicho who is just like them, who in spite of not knowing shit about shit either, he still became the president of our nation fucking twice. For 10 long ass years, we have had to deal with a bunch of pendejos and huelebichos who live in a completely different reality in which everything that is noble and true is fucking fake news to them, and everything that is false, wrong, and evil is just simply MAGA. Who else like me is just exhausted by all the fucking bullshit? Stay woke, mi gente. Dale.
From this video, and he actually did a great job with the analysis. For those that do not know, from the truth is that this man never promised anybody that he was going to make the economy better. Sincerely speaking, he didn't say it. Everything he did during his campaign and manifesto, even was all lie. His manifesto was Project 2025, for those that do not know. When did he campaign? During all his campaign period, did you see him say that he is going to make the economy boom? He didn't say that. Majority of the things he said was, in fact, go to Project 2025, and everything there are all happening. The truth is that some people really do not understand this American politics, even though they are Americans. I don't know how to explain this, but I am not saying this because I want to make black people happy. For the how many years that I have been talking Black American history, there is something that I've been able to understand about them. And that is something that I always tell them that I don't know how they do it. But it means that you all have mastered the act of these people. You all know them better than they know themselves. That is something that I am going to tell you. Black people are the ones that know American political system back for like all of it, middle, center, and all that. You can argue with your keypad. It's okay. But I am not saying this because I want to impress you. I am saying it because this is something that I have seen so far. And them also, white people knew too. If you say the ones that are telling you, that will tell you the truth, they will tell you that they do not understand American politics, that black people are the ones that understand it better. Why? Because it is their experience. They have lived all of it. They know you. Even before your intentions are being brought to light or something, they know. I don't know how they do it, but it's something that, no matter, I don't know how to, no matter how rich or how, like, let's say among all your siblings, there are people that you can say that this person is this person is that. There are also someone that you can tell that this person is the light of anything that can tell, like my kid sister. My kid sister can tell you a lot about the culture. She knows a whole lot. And when we need to find out some certain things, we'll call her. That is the truth. When we need so many, like, I don't know how to say it, but I might be ashamed, but I am not ashamed to say it. I am not ashamed to say it. My kid sister was the one that anchored my mom's funeral from beginning to end. My kid sister, from beginning to end. That is how good she is. She knows a whole lot. I don't know how she know it, but it's pretty crazy. But that is, I cannot say because I am older than her for that reason I should come and no. That is who she is. She will tell you this one is supposed to be this one is supposed to be this one. I'm like, we do not have the same talent. No matter how brilliant I am, I want you to know there are people that are more brilliant than me. I hope you know that. So when you remember all this, I want you all to know that I want these people to know that even when you think that because according to them, who told them they are the superior this thing, they do not know anything about their politics. And majority of them are accepting it and saying it the way it is. I see some of them coming on TikTok to say, how come It is when we got to TikTok that we learned so many things about American that they never taught us in school. How did black people get to know all this? I have brought videos like this before. And some of them are deconstructing, finding out that they've been lied to. Like they are still lying. Okay, it's just like the way they are lying. The Texas woman that read the book her child came back from school with. They've been whitewashing a whole lot. But for you to know the truth about your history, you have to calm down. You have to calm down and calm down to know it. There are some people that know it better than every other person. I am going to draw the curtain here. I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.